Coming up, Malaysia Tzu Chi volunteers lend assistance to fire victims in Sabah, Jorhor Bahru. Thanks to Tzu Chi's Project Hope, the renovation of Cheng Junior High School in Pintung is complete. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Marilee Shioda. Thank you for joining us. Recently, a large fire destroyed 234 wooden homes in Sabah's Kudat County in Malaysia. Over 1,000 people were left homeless. After hearing about the incident, Tzu Chi volunteers from Kota Kinabalu set out to conduct a disaster assessment and provide financial assistance to fire victims as needed. In a matter of minutes, 234 wooden homes were destroyed in a fire by Sabah's Kudat County. The blaze took place in a densely populated residential area, leaving more than 1,000 people homeless.
I heard the neighbors yelling, and I told my husband it's noisy out there. Go see what's going on. And when he opened the door, the fire was already in full force.
Upon hearing of the disaster, Tzu Chi volunteers from Kota Kinabalu set out to visit the victims and found most are still staying in temporary shelters.
The fire got him. He didn't escape in time. It burned his back and his head.
After a thorough assessment of the needs of the disaster victims, volunteers personally handed financial subsidies to help families get through this difficult time.
It was still early morning when we arrived, and many villagers were already waiting for us. We helped 230 families.
Of course, we're upset, but we need to regroup and start living our life again. This is a challenging life, but since it already happened, we must accept it.
Tzu Chi volunteers' financial assistance can only solve problems temporarily, as everyone hopes local officials can provide more resources for these fire victims in the days ahead. Spreading love to where it is needed in Fujian, China, Tzu Chi volunteers have made 2,000 zongzi for the medical staff at the福鼎Hospital. Upon receiving these zongzi, the medical staff expressed their deepest gratitude and remarked that these snacks are very precious as they come with the volunteers' best wishes.
The joy of sharing experiences with others can be found today in making zongzi.
Making zongzi at home is only for our family. Making zongzi here is a way to form good affinities with a lot of people. It's great.
To join this special event of the year, one participant even commuted for half an hour from Taimu to Futing City.
While giving of myself, I actually work with love.
Apart from the fillings, love is also included in making these zongzi. The volunteers have prepared 2,000 zongzi for the medical staff at Futing Hospital.
We seldom feel such an atmosphere in the wards. I think our medical staff will feel abundant love and care upon receiving this gift.
At different departments in Futing Hospital, people wish each other a safe and prosperous Dragon Boat Festival.
We might finish a zongzi in a few bites. However, it is imbued with the best wishes of the volunteers.
After the volunteers deliver zongzi and their best wishes to the medical staff, they also offer these special gifts to the construction workers at the hospital, spreading holiday cheer.
In Indonesia, Tzu Chi volunteers visit an apartment complex in North Jakarta every month to promote environmental conservation and campaign to do 5 good deeds a day. Thanks to these efforts, residents not only save their recyclables for the volunteers, but some have even joined the ranks of Tzu Chi.
To go among the public and promote recycling, Tzu Chi volunteers go to the Teluk Intan apartment complex in North Jakarta.
Kita hari ini fokusnya 5 kebajikan, irit air, terus irit listrik.
We will be focusing on inviting them to do 5 good deeds a day, including adopting a vegetarian diet, saving water and electricity, bringing reusable utensils, and changing their mode of transportation. When going somewhere nearby, we will walk or ride our bikes.
atau pakai sepeda. Terus satu lagi yang terakhir itu vegetarian.
Going on every floor and knocking on every door, volunteers share conservation concepts with those who open their doors. Volunteers have been recycling and holding handicraft-making activities in the courtyard every month, befriending apartment complex residents. Some of them have even joined the ranks of volunteers.
Untuk kegiatan PL itu kalau mereka bisa.
I hope the apartment residents will realize the importance of recycling to reduce the amount of garbage. If the recyclables are donated to Tzu Chi, we can get a hold of these recyclables and put them to good use.
Terkontrol ya, udah bisa kepakai langsung untuk tidak berulang.
With more people becoming environmentally aware, there's more hope for the earth. Volunteers will continue to promote recycling at this apartment complex, bring conservation concepts to more families.
Tzu Chi's disaster relief efforts continue to touch the hearts of many people. Recently, 2 clothing companies donated some of their inventory items for Tzu Chi to use in international relief efforts. To ensure the recipients receive the clothing in good condition, volunteers took the time to mend and clean the clothes as necessary. Let's see how the volunteers in Taoyuan's Zhongli are organizing this prep work. These boxes of clothes aren't being organized for selling, but for international relief.
The clothing company owner is very kind. This is the second batch of clothes they have given us. They're changing seasons right now, so the company has some clothes that have been returned from the department stores. The warehouse is full, so they were looking to clear out a few items.
Another clothing company was moved by Tzu Chi's love when he saw how the volunteers cleaned up the Ulai area after the typhoon devastated the region and also donated their inventory items. In between the 2 companies, tens of thousands of pieces of clothing were donated to Tzu Chi. To pack it all up, volunteers must categorize each item.
In mending, tailoring, and ironing the clothes, the volunteers from Taoyuan have the most experience. This morning, after a brief introduction, everyone was able to get to work right away.
The master says we should put our heart of gratitude into our work. If there is a button missing or something wrong with the piece of clothing, we will fix it before we pack it away.
A former worker in the clothing industry, Xu Caishen, brought her mother to help when she heard about this opportunity.
I
like to take my mother out of the house to give her more opportunities to meet people. It's good for her health.
On this day, a total of 197 volunteers organized 9,258 pieces of clothing. Thanks to the volunteers who work in shifts, these clothes will reach the hands of people in need in due time. In our next report, we meet翁所明, a Tzu Chi volunteer who is originally from Myanmar. Wong had been looking for a Buddhist organization since arriving in Taiwan and learned about Tzu Chi through watching DaAi TV. After that, he began volunteering with the foundation, and now he is running an eatery to promote vegetarianism.
Wang So-ming, who is from predominantly Buddhist country Myanmar, studied at a religious school there. After coming to Taiwan, he learned about Tzu Chi through watching DaAi TV more than 10 years ago.
The master's talks are Buddhist teachings, and they have never deviated to other issues. The true Buddhist teachings are in the talks.
Since Wang began volunteering at the Tzu Chi recycling station, he has caught the attention of Tzu Chi volunteer Lu Yuanhe. Lu taught Wang Chinese, starting with phonetic symbols. Now Wang is not only fluent in Mandarin, he even understands Taiwanese.
He learned of the master's efforts to promote vegetarianism. For the last 10 years, he wholeheartedly wanted to promote vegetarianism. Finally, he has achieved this goal.
Running an eatery is no easy feat. Thanks to the support of Wang's mother-in-law, Wang is able to promote vegetarianism here.
When people adopt the vegetarian diet, they shouldn't keep eating those processed foods. I refuse to use them here.
Wong's mother-in-law is fond of Wong. In fact, she was the one who encouraged her daughter to marry Wong.
I said, "It is all right. Try going out with him. I think he is good and down to earth. He volunteers with Tzu Chi. Since he has learned at Tzu Chi, he should have a good nature."
Speaking of Wong, Wong's mother-in-law is full of pride. She remarks that Wong's experiences at Tzu Chi guarantees his good character.
Tzu Chi Foundation's Project Hope of Disaster Risk Reduction hopes to provide students the opportunity to learn in a safe environment. At the end of April this year, Tzu Chi's construction work to rebuild 5 schools in the Pintung area was completed. Today, we take a look at one of the schools that was finished, Cheng Junior High School, where students were eager to use the new facilities.
50-year-old Cheng Junior High School inaugurated its new school buildings in March of this year. However, if we turn the clock back 8 months ago, the school looked much different. This is Pingtung's Cheng Junior High School. It is sealed off because all of the old buildings on the school campus had to be demolished. Few things were spared. Even the school's main gate no longer remains. Only the school's gymnasium was left intact, so all of the school's offices had to be moved into this building. The activity center, where the temporary offices were located, is empty now. Looking back, one can see the conditions of their old school.
Rain falls and there is a persistent sound of water leaking into a bucket. There are water stains throughout the school, leading both teachers and students on campus to feel nervous.
When it rains, it was quite troublesome, as the floor would be totally wet. We would have to go to the roof and clear up the water ourselves and help assist with the drainage. Before, we used to worry about this rain, but now that we are in this other building, we don't need to worry about the rain and getting wet. Previously, the rain used to come in right through the windows, but not anymore.
This is Chen Boyao. When he attended classes in the prefabricated classrooms 8 months ago, he painted the walls with his classmates. In 9th grade before graduation, he moved into the new school building and says that he can study more diligently now.
You can say I was more motivated to work hard at my studies and get into the high school of my choice.
Students no longer need to worry about water leaking and the floor being wet, as a specially designed roof now slopes and sends water into gutters, which collect it for future use. Cheng Junior High's art class was founded more than 10 years ago and is one of 2 such junior highs to offer such a program in Pintung City. The new school buildings allow these children who have a passion for creating artworks to get creative.
The ventilation of the new school buildings is now very good, and so is the sound insulation in each classroom. This means that we can sleep very well when taking afternoon naps. It is quite convenient.
I believe that this school, from the teachers to the students, will all work a little harder in our pursuit of education. We will do a more solid job to thank Tzu Chi for giving us such nice school facilities.
This new school imbues these students with new hope, as a fresh new transformation has taken place, providing these students an opportunity to grow and study in complete comfort.
Character education is an important part of Tzu Chi's humanitarian lessons, and as June is graduation season for students in Taiwan, DaAi mothers in New Taipei City and Hsinchu County held tea-serving ceremonies at 2 elementary schools for the students to express their gratitude to their teachers.
来，毕业生，请听口令，请跪，请奉茶。
At Ruiping Elementary School in New Taipei City, Tzu Chi volunteers organized a tea serving ceremony for the graduating students to thank their teachers.
I am very happy and also very touched because I have never been appreciated so formally by the students. In the past, kneeling down was considered a very formal etiquette.
I hope the students will learn how to thank the teachers and every person who has helped them. I feel this is very important in their life education.
Children who are grateful to others are blessed. To organize this tea serving ceremony, we held 3 meetings in preparation.
At Fenggang Elementary School in Hsinchu County, Tzu Chi volunteers also organized a tea ceremony for the graduating students to appreciate their teachers.
It left a deep impression on me. During the activity, I felt the kids have grown up and become more mature.
When I realized I'll bid farewell to my teacher and my classmates, I became very sad, so I simply cried.
I was very touched. I want to thank my teacher for his help in the past years.
Sometimes I was so naughty that I often made the teacher angry, but he never gave up on me.
With the best wishes of everyone, the children have learned to cherish everything they have as they start a new chapter of their life.
Across the island of Taiwan, one can see many unique dragon boat races that took place for the holiday. In Yilan's Jiaoxi area, we visit Erlong Village, where the dragon boat competition keeps to a traditional duck-style boat, and competitors would simply keep paddling until they are tired. We'll talk to some of the residents and learn how this interesting tradition actually reflects the town's history. Just as their ancestors have done for generations, everyone holds a ritual and prayer service before today's event. The match today is a friendly competition between the Erlong Village and Yilan City Office. Participants for Erlong listen to the ring of the gong as those in Yilan listen to drums. The style of their boats is also markedly different. One is decorated to appear as the common dragon style, and the other is decorated in a traditional duck style and decorated with yin-yang and taiji symbols. And if you look closely, the participants from Erlong also sit in a kneeling position as they row instead of sitting. The tradition of the Erlong dragon boat competition began during the Cheng dynasty in the reign of the Jia Qing emperor, and now has a history of 200 years. Residents of Erlong have been busy putting the finishing touches on the boat at the village's activity center. Using thick vines to secure the blue beam to the hull of the ship is the primary task.
Since the wood is fairly loose, we have to tie the ropes tight so the whole thing will be more solid. Then when we are rowing, it will increase momentum.
The rattan we use is naturally quite flexible. If we use metal wires, then there is not enough flexibility, which this could easily cause them to snap.
The wooden ship is 40 meters long and weighs about 850 kilograms. In imitation of traditional boat building techniques, the boat is made by fixing wooden joints, and no nails have been used. Historically, the races in Jiaoxi Township do not have a referee. The outcome of the race is determined by the audience. The race will generally continue until the competitors signal they are tired.
In the old days, farming communities had a lot of strong folks, and they would all come down to join the race. There would be an elder at the front of the boat, and if they thought you looked weak, they wouldn't let you join the team.
In their kneeling positions with their arms at the ready, these rowers burst into action as the race begins. This is the test of endurance and strength that these high school students have been training for.
I think it's really tough. The places that hurt the most are the hands and the waist, because you have to move your waist to the rhythm as you row, which is different from other rowing techniques.
滑几下就会累了。
那你怎么克服它？有没有想跑？
不会，因为都来了，就是要把它做完。
当初为什么想要来？
因为看大家都在滑，就很想参加，就是一个传统。
In other regions, people race to commemorate the Chinese tradition, but here in Erlong, the race actually carries a more local cultural connection. Long before the Han Chinese arrived in this region, the original plain tribes of the area had rituals of crossing the rivers in order to drive away evil spirits. After Chinese influence appeared in the region, the two traditions eventually became synthesized as one.
In the past, all the agricultural produce from Erlong would pass through the Zhuan port. It would pass the villages along the river until it got to the market. But you know, Yilan gets a lot of typhoons, which would cause regular flooding. Ever since the harbor was established, the intrusion of seawater flooding the area would disrupt the market trade.
The Dragon Boat Festival every year is a chance to remember the traditions of the past, pray for peace and prosperity in the future, and to honor Mother Nature in the present. Staying in Taiwan in Kaohsiung at the home of a local senior, a group of students who took classes at the city's Training and Employment Center are putting into practice what they have learned. There, the graduates cleaned up the senior's home and made a delicious lunch. Wiping clean the cabinets and chairs, this group of recent graduates from Kaohsiung's Training and Employment Center are very hard at work.
Jobs are hard to find these days.
Miss Wu, a mother of two, has held down many different jobs to make ends meet. However, now that her youngest is in college, she hopes the certificate can give her an edge in the job market.
清洁的那个细致度有差别，会不一样就对。哎，清洁技巧跟清洁的那个，所以以后在市场上也会有区隔啦。对对，在金钱上也会有差别。
On the other end of the house, Mr. Cheng, who moved to Taiwan with his wife, is busy in the kitchen. Getting a license is all a part of his plan.
I want to open my own shop. I'm very happy to help today.
Today he is making scrambled eggs and tomatoes for lunch. Seeing how lively her home is, Senior Ah Feng feels blessed.
I'm so grateful for the cleanup. Often I fall when I get up to go to the bathroom.
The training course students put what they have learned into practice and help bring a smile to the senior's face. In Hualien, the Ren'an Homeless Social Welfare Foundation partnered with Tzu Chi to hold an outreach for the homeless to let them know that there are people who still care for them. The assistance provided included free haircuts as well as health checkups. We will leave you with these images at the end of the program. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.